All right, everybody, get ready, because today we are taking a deep dive into library mindset, the art of laziness.
Ooh, I like that title.
Yeah, it's a good one, right? Now, I know the title might sound...
A little counterintuitive.
Yeah, a little counterintuitive, a little paradoxical even.
Yeah.
But trust me, this book is not about, just kind of lounging around in your PJs all day long. It's really about something much deeper.
Yeah.
It's about taking control of your time, making things happen, and starting, now.
Yeah, starting right now.
And get this. The book kicks off with a real attention grabber.
Oh, okay.
It reminds us that the average lifespan is only about 3,700 weeks.
Wow, yeah, that's a powerful...
That's not much, is it?
No, it's not. And it's a powerful framing device when you think about it like that.
Right.
3,700 weeks. That's not a lot of time. It makes you stop and consider, are you spending those weeks on what truly matters? And a key part of that, this book argues, is taking 100% responsibility for your actions.
So no more blaming the dog for eating the to-do list.
Exactly.
I have to admit, I'm guilty of that sometimes.
Oh, we all are.
Like, I couldn't finish that project because the wifey went out or something like that.
Yeah.
But the book really emphasizes owning your choices, even when it's a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, and, it's easy to fall into the trap of blaming external factors.
Yes.
But the book really argues that this keeps you stuck.
Oh, okay.
It's only when you acknowledge your own role in the situation that you can gain the power to change it.
Right.
For example, think about how many times you said, I don't have time to exercise.
Oh, all the time. That's like my go-to excuse.
Right, but what if instead of blaming your busy schedule, you reframed it as, I haven't prioritized exercise yet?
Interesting.
And you see that subtle shift in language highlights the fact that you actually do have choices.
It does, yeah.
Maybe it means waking up a little earlier or reevaluating how you're spending your evenings.
That's a really good point. It's like you're taking back control of the narrative
Yes.
instead of letting those external factors dictate your actions.
Precisely. And this idea of taking control ties into another key concept from the book,
Okay.
breaking free from your comfort zone.
Ooh.
The book uses this great analogy of a stagnant garden.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing new can grow in an environment that's never challenged, right?
So our comfort zones are basically cozy little prisons that are keeping us from reaching our full potential.
In a way, yes.
Wow.
Think about it. Staying in your comfort zone, yeah, it might feel good in the moment,
Right.
but it's in those moments of discomfort when we push ourselves beyond our perceived limits that we truly grow.
That's true.
It's like choosing to go for a run, even though your brain is telling you to just stay on the couch and watch TV.
Ooh, that one hit a little too close to home.
Yeah.
I can be quite the couch potato sometimes, I have to admit.
We all have our vices.
But I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
That real growth, the kind that makes you feel really alive, usually involves at least a little bit of discomfort.
Absolutely. And while we're talking about pushing boundaries, the book also cautions against falling into the trap of perfectionism.
Ooh, yes, because nothing is ever truly perfect, is it?
Right.
I love the example the book uses about mowing the lawn.
Yeah, tell me about it.
You can spend hours meticulously trimming every single blade of grass. But guess what? It's just going to grow back.
It is. The key takeaway here is that sometimes done is better than perfect.
I like that.
Now, of course, there are times when striving for perfection is warranted, right?
Right.
Think of a surgeon performing a very delicate operation or an architect designing a structurally sound building.
Yes, of course.
But when it comes to many everyday tasks, aiming for perfection can actually be paralyzing.
So how do we know when to let go of that need for, absolute perfection?
Yeah.
How do we know when it's okay to just get things done?
That's where discernment comes in.
Okay.
It's about asking yourself, what is the purpose of this task? What are the potential consequences of imperfection? Let's say you're writing an email to a colleague.
Right.
Does every sentence need to be flawlessly crafted?
Probably not.
Probably not, right?
Yeah.
But if you're drafting a legal contract, then precision in language becomes much more crucial.
That makes sense. It's about understanding the context and adjusting our approach accordingly.
Exactly.
So, listeners, think about something you've been putting off because you're waiting for the perfect time or conditions. Maybe it's finally organizing your closet or starting that creative project you've been dreaming about.
Yes.
Ask yourself, is perfectionism truly necessary in this situation, or is it just an excuse for inaction?
A very good question.
And this leads us to another productivity myth that this book tackles head on, multitasking.
Oh, multitasking.
My supposed superpower.
Right.
That actually turns out to be a weakness. The book uses a pretty sobering example to illustrate the dangers of multitasking.
Okay.
The story of the $125 million Mars climate orbiter.
Wow.
That was lost because of a simple unit conversion error.
Wow, yes, a costly mistake, and you guessed it, attributed to multitasking gone wrong.
That's right.
And this isn't just an isolated incident. Research shows that multitasking actually reduces our efficiency and increases errors.
But our brains are so good at, jumping between different things, aren't they?
Right.
What's the science behind why this seemingly effortless task switching is actually so detrimental?
Well, one way to visualize it is to think about your attention as a spotlight.
Okay.
When you multitask, you're essentially trying to shine that spotlight on multiple things at once. The result is that everything is dimly lit, and you're not able to focus on any one thing with clarity and precision.
Interesting.
It's like trying to read a book while also having a conversation and checking your social media feed all at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
You might be able to do all of those things superficially,
Right.
but you're not going to absorb much information. You're not going to have any meaningful interactions.
Right, you're just spreading yourself too thin.
Exactly.
So what does the book suggest we do instead? How do we cultivate a deeper focus in a world that's constantly demanding our attention?
The book emphasizes the importance of single tasking,
Okay.
which sounds simple enough,
Yeah.
but can be a real challenge in our hyper-connected world.
Absolutely.
It's about carving out dedicated time blocks for specific tasks and minimizing distractions during those periods.
So that means silencing notifications, closing unnecessary tabs, maybe even putting your phone in another room.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about creating an environment that's conducive to deep work and focused attention.
Okay.
Think about it. Have you ever noticed how much more you accomplish when you're working on a plane without Wi-Fi?
Yes, absolutely. It's amazing how productive you can be when you're forced to disconnect, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
And that brings us to another crucial point the book makes. Don't wait for the perfect moment to take action.
Because the perfect moment may never come, right?
Mm.
I love the story the book uses to illustrate this point. The tale of the farmer who diligently watered a bamboo tree for 5 years before seeing any visible growth above the ground.
5 years. Can you imagine the patience and dedication that must have taken?
It's incredible, yeah.
It's a powerful image.
And it really reminds us that sometimes the most important things take time to develop, and we need to be willing to put in the work even when we don't see immediate results.
Exactly. And it's not just about patience, it's about being proactive.
Oh, okay.
Don't wait for things to happen to you, make things happen.
Okay, so we need to be both proactive and patient.
Yeah.
That sounds like a tricky balance to strike.
It is, and it's something we'll continue to explore in the next part of our deep dive.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah.
Welcome back, listeners. Now it's time to get into those brass tacks and talk about the practical tips in the art of laziness.
I agree.
I mean, what good is all this talk of, responsibility and discomfort and everything if we don't have actionable steps to actually, take action?
You're absolutely right, and thankfully the book delivers.
Okay, good.
It gives us a whole toolbox of techniques to help us break free from those lazy habits
Yeah,
and start living a more intentional and productive life.
I like it. So let's dive into that toolbox. What are some of the most effective strategies the book recommends?
Well, one of the foundational principles it emphasizes
Okay.
is planning your day.
Uh-huh.
And specifically writing down your goals.
Oh, okay.
It might seem simple, almost old school
Yeah,
in our digital age, but there's something powerful about putting pen to paper
I agree.
and solidifying those intentions.
It's like making a contract with yourself.
Yeah,
A visible reminder of what you're committed to achieving.
exactly.
And I found that just the act of writing something down,
Uh-huh.
it makes it feel more real, more actionable.
It does. It does. And that sense of commitment is key
Right.
to actually following through
Good.
on those goals. Speaking of following through, the book also highlights the 80-20 rule,
Oh, yeah, the 80-20 rule.
also known as the Pareto principle,
Right.
as a powerful tool for prioritizing our efforts.
Okay, refresh my memory on the 80-20 rule.
Okay, sure.
It's about, focusing on the tasks that'll have the biggest impact, right?
Exactly. The 80-20 rule suggests that roughly 80% of our results come from just 20% of our efforts.
Wow, okay.
So the key to maximizing our productivity is to identify and focus on that crucial 20%.
So it's not about doing less, it's about working smarter, not just harder.
Exactly, precisely.
Okay, so it's about being strategic with our time and our energy, figuring out which tasks are like really the needle movers, and
Yes.
which ones maybe aren't worth our full attention?
Precisely.
Okay.
Now, we've already discussed the pitfalls of multitasking,
Yes.
but the book reinforces this point with some practical tips for cultivating a deeper focus.
Okay.
It suggests creating a dedicated workspace, silencing notifications, and removing any potential distractions.
So it's about setting the stage for concentration.
Yes.
Right. Creating an environment where you can fully immerse yourself in the task at hand.
Precisely.
Okay, but what about those times where we're, staring at a task, knowing we need to do it, but just can't seem to muster the motivation to actually start?
Yeah.
Any advice for overcoming that procrastination?
Absolutely. This is where the book introduces a fascinating concept called Parkinson's Law.
Parkinson's Law, okay.
Have you heard of this one?
I have heard of it, but I'm not sure I could tell you exactly what it is.
Okay, well, it states that work expands
Okay.
to fill the time allotted for its completion.
So if I give myself a week to complete a project,
Yes.
it will inevitably take a week, even if I could realistically finish it in a couple of days.
That's the idea.
Oh, wow.
By setting tighter deadlines, even artificially so, you create a sense of urgency
Right.
that can really help overcome procrastination and work more efficiently.
That's so interesting. It's like tricking your brain into being more productive.
In a way, yes.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to try that.
Good. And another technique that can be helpful for combating procrastination
Okay.
is the Pomodoro technique.
Oh, yeah, the Pomodoro technique. That's a classic.
Have you heard of this one?
Yes. It's like you work in focused intervals.
Yes.
Usually like 25 minutes.
Right.
Separated by short breaks.
Exactly. The Pomodoro technique is a great way to break down those large tasks into manageable chunks
Right.
and maintain focus over longer periods.
It's true. Those short breaks are crucial, right, for preventing burnout and letting your brain kind of recharge.
Exactly.
Now, shifting gears a bit,
Okay.
the book also explores some Japanese philosophies and techniques
Yes.
for overcoming laziness and finding fulfillment in our work.
Uh-huh.
And I know you're fascinated by different cultures.
I am, yes.
So I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this section.
Well, I thought it was great.
Good.
I loved that the author took us on a little cultural detour.
Yeah, me too. It was a nice surprise.
It's like a little cultural detour within our productivity journey.
It was, yeah.
One of the concepts that the book highlights is,
Yes.
it's a Japanese concept, ikigai,
Yes, ikigai.
which translates to like a reason for being.
Yeah, a reason for being.
It's about finding that sweet spot where your passions and your skills and your values all intersect.
Yes, it's about aligning your actions with your purpose,
Right.
which ties back beautifully to the book's emphasis on living intentionally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you have a strong sense of purpose, it makes it so much easier to overcome that procrastination
It does.
and stay motivated.
It's like having that internal compass that guides you towards your goals.
I like that.
Now, ikigai focuses on the why behind our actions.
Yeah.
But the book also delves into the how
Okay.
with a concept called kaizen,
Kaizen. Okay.
which emphasizes continuous improvement.
Continuous improvement. Yes.
It's a philosophy embraced by so many successful businesses
Yes.
and individuals. Yeah, it's the idea that small, consistent changes can accumulate into significant progress over time.
Exactly.
So instead of trying to overhaul your entire life all at once,
Right.
you focus on getting 1% better each day.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love that.
It's much more sustainable, right?
It is. It's much more sustainable than those drastic changes that people try to make and then end up burning out.
And then get discouraged. Yeah.
Exactly. Are there any other Japanese techniques from the book that stood out to you?
Yes. Well, Shoshin was particularly intriguing.
Shoshin. Okay.
It's a concept from Zen Buddhism
Okay.
that encourages approaching things with a beginner's mind,
Okay.
a sense of openness and curiosity.
So it's about letting go of those preconceived notions
Yeah.
and being willing to learn from anyone and everyone, regardless of their expertise.
Precisely.
It's about embracing a growth mindset, right?
Yes.
Recognizing that there's always something new to learn.
Always something new to learn, and this idea of mindful openness ties in nicely with another concept mentioned in the book, harahachibu,
Harahachibu, what is that?
which is the practice of eating until you're 80% full.
Wait, eating? What does that have to do with productivity?
It's a metaphor.
Oh, Okay.
for mindful consumption.
Okay.
Both in terms of food
Right.
and information.
Interesting.
Just as overeating can lead to sluggishness and decreased energy,
Right?
overloading yourself with information
Yes.
can have a similar effect
Yeah, that makes sense.
on your mental clarity and focus.
So it's about finding that balance, that sweet spot, where you're
Yes.
taking in enough to nourish and sustain you, but not so much that you become overwhelmed and unproductive.
Exactly. It's about being intentional with what you consume,
Right.
whether it's food, information, or even, social media.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I know you're a big advocate for spending time in nature.
I am, yes.
And the book actually touches on a Japanese practice called Shinrin-yoku,
Shinrin-yoku, yeah.
which translates to forest bathing.
Yes, forest bathing. I've heard so much about the benefits of forest bathing. It's about immersing yourself in nature, right?
Yes.
And engaging all of your senses
Yes.
to experience the calming and restorative effects of the natural world.
Right. And it's not just about going for a walk in the park. It's
And-
about consciously connecting with nature,
Right.
noticing the sights, sounds, smells, and textures.
I love that. It's about being present in the moment and allowing nature to rejuvenate your mind and body.
Exactly. And studies have shown that spending time in nature can reduce stress,
Oh, wow.
improve our mood, boost our creativity, and even enhance our cognitive function.
That's amazing.
Now let's shift gears back to the book's more practical tips for forming good habits.
Okay.
One technique that stood out to me was the 5-minute rule.
The 5-minute rule. Okay, tell me more about that.
It's a simple but effective strategy. The rule suggests that any task that can be completed in under 5 minutes should be done immediately.
So no more adding those tiny tasks to the ever-growing to-do list.
Exactly. Just get them done and out of the way.
Just do it.
It's about eliminating those little nagging tasks
Yeah.
that can clutter our minds
All right.
and drain our energy.
This is true.
And it helps you build momentum
Okay.
and create a sense of accomplishment,
Right.
which can then motivate you to tackle bigger tasks.
I like that. It's like a quick win that sets you up for further success.
Exactly.
Now, building on the idea of consistency, the book also introduces the 2-day rule.
Ah, yes, the 2-day rule.
What is that?
It states that you should never miss a habit 2 days in a row.
Okay.
It's okay to slip up occasionally. We're all human.
Right. We're not perfect.
But the key is to get back on track as quickly as possible.
So it's about acknowledging that setbacks are inevitable,
Yeah,
but not letting them derail our progress.
exactly. It's about developing that resilience and commitment to our goals. Okay,
Great.
and finally, the book offers a really powerful suggestion for ending our day on a productive note.
Okay.
Take 10 minutes before bed to reflect on your accomplishments
Oh, nice.
and plan for tomorrow.
I love that idea. I often find myself lying in bed,
Yeah?
replaying the day's events, stressing about what needs to get done tomorrow.
Right.
This structured reflection time sounds so much more productive.
It is.
It's very calming.
It's about consciously closing out the day,
Right.
acknowledging our wins, and setting intentions for the next day.
Yeah.
It helps us transition from, work mode to rest mode
Right.
and wake up feeling more focused and prepared.
That's a great tip. I'm definitely going to try incorporating that into my routine.
I think you should.
Yeah.
And with that, I think we've covered a pretty wide range of practical tips and techniques
Yes.
from the Art of Laziness.
Very nice.
But before we wrap up our deep dive,
Okay.
let's take some time to kind of synthesize these insights
Yeah.
and explore their deeper implications for all of us.
All right. Sounds good. Well, we've covered a lot of ground in our deep dive into the art of laziness,
Well, yeah.
from the importance of taking responsibility
Yes.
to the power of embracing discomfort
Yes.
and all that wisdom found in those Japanese productivity techniques.
I agree.
Now it's time to kind of step back and think about what it all means,
Yes.
for us, for you, the listener,
Right.
as you navigate your own journey
Right.
toward a more intentional and productive life.
I think what's so compelling about this book
Yeah.
is that it's not really about, glorifying laziness
Right.
in the traditional sense.
Right.
It's not about encouraging us to, kick back and just do nothing all day.
Right. Right.
It's about something much more profound.
Yeah.
It's about reclaiming our time and energy
Yes.
from the clutches of procrastination,
Yeah.
distraction, and those pesky feelings of overwhelm
Oh, yeah.
that can keep us stuck.
It's true. It's like the book is giving us permission to be lazy
Yes.
in a strategic way.
In a strategic way, exactly.
Not lazy in the sense of being inactive,
Right.
but lazy in the sense of being really deliberate about how we spend our time and energy, which is so precious.
Yes, I love that. It's about, saying no to those things that drain us,
Yeah.
that don't align with our values
Yeah.
or our goals.
Yes.
So that we can say yes
Yes.
to those things that truly matter.
And that sense of empowerment,
Yes.
that feeling of like taking control, it runs throughout the entire book, doesn't it?
It does. It does. It's like this constant reminder that we have agency, that we're not just passive bystanders in our own lives.
It challenges us to like question those societal expectations.
Yes.
Around productivity.
Yes. It's not about working longer hours.
Right.
Or endlessly optimizing our schedules.
Right.
Or striving to just be busy.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
It's about something much more meaningful.
Okay.
It's about aligning our actions with our values.
Yeah.
And focusing on what truly brings us joy and fulfillment.
So it's about defining productivity on our own terms.
Precisely.
Not letting it be dictated by, external pressures or societal norms or anything like that.
I agree. And that, I think, is one of the most profound takeaways from this book.
Okay.
The reminder that true productivity is not just about accomplishing tasks. It's about crafting a life that's aligned with your passions, your purpose, your unique definition of success.
It's not about checking things off a to-do list just for the sake of checking them off.
Right.
Right. It's about creating a life that feels meaningful,
Yeah.
A life where you're excited to wake up each morning.
Yes.
And pursue those things that bring you a sense of purpose and accomplishment.
And that leads us to, I think, a crucial question for everyone listening. What does that life look like for you?
It's a good question.
What are those things
that
light you up, that make you feel truly alive?
And it brings us right back to that initial reminder from the book.
Yes.
We only have about 3,700 weeks on this planet. How do we want to spend those weeks?
Right. And remember, it's not about making drastic changes overnight.
Right.
It's about taking those small, consistent steps.
Yeah.
Those 1% improvements.
Yeah.
That over time lead to significant transformations.
So what's one small step you can take today, right now, to move a little bit closer to that vision of your ideal life? What's one tiny action that you can take to reclaim your time and energy and start living with more intention and purpose?
Maybe it's setting a timer for 25 minutes and focusing on that one task you've been putting off.
Right.
Maybe it's silencing those notifications on your phone so you can enjoy a distraction-free dinner with loved ones.
That's a good one.
Maybe it's spending 10 minutes before bed, reflecting on your accomplishments and planning for tomorrow.
I like it. Whatever that step is, just remember, you have the power to make it happen.
You do.
You have the power to choose how you spend your precious time and energy.
And as you kind of embark on this journey of intentional living, remember to be patient with yourself.
It's true.
Progress isn't always linear.
Right.
There will be setbacks.
Of course.
There will be days when you feel like you're taking 2 steps back for every 1 step forward.
It happens.
But it's on those days, those challenging days, that it's even more important to remember the wisdom of the art of laziness.
That's right.
Take a deep breath.
Yes.
Refocus on what truly matters and keep moving forward. One intentional step at a time.
One step at a time. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the art of laziness.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, keep those knowledge-seeking spirits alive.